Hi everyone, so today we're going to be looking at adding and subtracting using decimal numbers. I'm going to show you the questions first, so if you are feeling confident or maybe you'd like to have a go beforehand, then feel free to pause the video and you can come back to it later on. So some questions don't actually involve exchanging and they're much quicker because of that. So if we look at 5.50 take away 1.10, 0 take away 0, we know is 0. 5 take away 1 is 4. We have our decimal point, and again 5 take away 1 is 4. So when we're working with decimal numbers, it's highly likely that we're going to come across a question like this, and it's particularly difficult because we have to exchange between columns to get to the correct answer. Okay, so in this case we've got 10 take away 2.32. Now when we line it up in our columns, if you're unsure on this, a really good point of reference is that decimal point, because it never ever changes position. It always stays in the same place. So we know that 10 goes in there, and our 2.32, the 2 goes in the ones column, the 3 in our tenths column, and the 2 in our hundredths column. Now we can add in placeholders here, which are going to help us. So when we're subtracting, we always start with our smallest column. So in this case, that's our hundredths column. 0 take away 2. Now we know we can't do that because 2 is a greater value. And usually we'd actually knock on our neighbour's door or exchange in this case, but we can't because we've got nothing in our tenths column. And actually we've got nothing in our ones column as well. So we end up going all the way over to our tens column before we can start exchanging. So the 1 becomes a 0. And with the 1 that we've borrowed, we add it in here to our ones column. And then we can actually change that to a 9 and add the 1 into our tenths column. And again, we can change that to a 9 and add the 1 into our hundredths column. So we've just made it a whole lot easier for ourselves. So we've now got 10 take away 2, which we know is 8. 9 take away 3 is 6. Not forgetting to add in that all-important decimal point. 9 take away 2 is 7. And then we've got a 0 here. 0 take away 0, if you like, is 0. But you don't really need to add that in. So we've got 7.68. So we're now going to look at an alternative method that we can use. And it's going to take out the whole process of having to exchange between columns. So some of you may have noticed that instead of using 10 take away 2.32, if we actually subtract 0.01 from both values, we'd end up with 9.99 take away 2.31. Now we're still going to arrive at the same answer because the difference between these two values is still the same. We've just changed it up slightly so we don't have to exchange between columns. So 9 take away 1 is 8, 9 take away 3 is 6, add in the decimal point, and 9 take away 2 is 7. So 7.68 is the same answer. It's just much quicker because we don't have to exchange. So even when we're working with adding decimals, that decimal point is still really important for us because it helps us to line our numbers up in our columns. So we've got our columns here that we're going to be using, and we can pop our numbers in. So we've got 3.7 and then 2.899, and then we can just add in our placeholders here, which again are going to help us. So 0 add 9 is 9, same again, so we've got another 9. 7 add 8, so this one is 15, but we can only put one digit down here, so we put a 5, and then our 1 we carry across to the next column into our ones column, and then we've got 3 add 2, which is 5, but not forgetting that 1 that we've carried across, so we pop a 6 in there and add in our decimal point. So again, with this example, we line our numbers up into our correct columns. If you're unsure again, then use that decimal point as your reference point. We've got a thousandths column that we're going to be using this time, and we've got 1 add, and we've got no value here, so we know that's a 0. 1 add 0 is 1. 7 add 9. Now this is where we have to carry across. So 7 add 9 is 16. So we add our 6 in and carry our 1. 9 add 9 is 18. Add the 1 is 19. So we pop a 9 in, carry the 1 across again, add in our decimal point. 4 add 9 is 13. Add our 1 is 14. So we add in a 4 and carry the 1 across. And then we've got 1, add nothing, so our placeholder of 0. Add the 1 at the bottom. And then pop in our 2, so 24.961. So again, some of you might have chosen to do this mentally. That's absolutely fine. So when we are doing it mentally, we know that 9.99 is really, really close to 10. And 10 is a much nicer number to work with. So to change it to 10, all we do is add 0.01. So now we've got our 10. But it's slightly different to subtracting. So it's almost a balancing act. So because we've increased this value, we need to subtract 0.01 from this number here. So our calculation would actually be 14.961 add 10. So we've changed the hundredths column from 7 to a 6. So we've taken away 0.01 from this number and we've added it to get this number. And now we can see, we'll just add in our placeholders, that this is much easier to work with. You don't even need to do this. You can work it out mentally. But 1 add 0 is 1. 6 add 0 is 6. 9 add 0 is 9. Add in our decimal point. 4 add 0 is 4. And 1 add 1 is 2. So we've only actually had to work out this tens column here. Everything else has stayed the same.